Okay, well, welcome everybody to the March 2024 meeting of the Austin Adobe User Group. We meet every month on the second Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. Central. Our calls are being recorded and the video of today's presentation will be put up on our website, which is the austinadobe-usergroup.com. And we welcome suggestions for other presentations. If a member would like to give a presentation or request one, they can suggest it to us by going through our website. Tonight's presentation is going to be on Adobe's Firefly 2, and it's going to be presented by my co-manager, Cornelius Chopin, who has been with us since this was the Austin Macromedia Users Group a little while ago. And there's a question from Sherry, did you change the display resolution?
No, I've been having some problems with that. I'm gonna try to make the images as big as possible though.
Okay, and I will also put on closed captioning. So
Yeah,
Cornelius, thank you very much for the presentation. And I will also be posting in the chat room a link where you can register to show your attendance in tonight's meeting. We have a twice a year raffle prize which we can give to our members for a free subscription to Creative Cloud. And that is high incentive for attending our meetings. So Cornelius, tell us about Firefly 2, please.
Okay, welcome everyone to Adobe Firefly. Say that 10 times. Okay, Adobe Firefly, not to be confused with the ones we used to catch at night and put in a bottle, right? I think that's what we used to call them.
Oh yeah.
This is version 2 that we're going to be talking about tonight. Now I'm not going to be long tonight, which is unusual for me, because most of what I covered in the Adobe Photoshop training is applicable here, as well as my Adobe Express training that I talked about, I guess, a couple months ago. So if you've been to that class, the Photoshop training class, and the Adobe Express class, you're going to know most of this. So I'm going to kind of hit the highlights on the new features of Adobe Firefly version 2. Now, let me just show you. By the way, if you want to go there, you can use this URL, https://firefly.adobe.com. That's the website if you want to go to this. And it's free, I believe. But I guess you could buy update as well. But we get everything for free, which is always good. But you could go to that website to go to this page what we're looking at right now. You guys can see my page, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So let's look at the difference between version 1 and version 2. There's a nice little example of down at the bottom here. This is I don't know if you can see up at the top here where those arrows are. There's Firefly image 1 and image 2. So this is image 2. That's 1. Okay. So you can see the difference between the two different versions. So that's with a backdrop. Let's look at the animal. That's 2. That's 1. I kind of like 1 better, I guess.
Looks like a darkness filter more than anything else.
So this is 2. So I like 2 better. And then if
more
you go
texture.
Portrait, you can see, yeah, you're right. I think you see how nice that looks compared to that. So it's brightened up the images on version 2. This is a portrait. This is a macro. So let's look at the 2 versions. That's version 2. That's version 1. 1, 2. I almost sound like the eye doctor, and they flipped the little thing that says, "Is it 1
yes,
or 2?"
That's exactly what it's like.
I always think about that, Is it? And I can never tell the difference in a lot of them, right? It's about the same. Okay, so here you go. This is version 2, version 1. So you can kind of see that's nice and bright, nice sunlight on our hair, right? And then with food, now this is just the opposite. This is 2, and this is 1. And obviously I like 2 better, right? For the same prompt. So this is like doing the same prompt and you get a totally different picture depending upon what version you use. And then last but not least, sci-fi, which is I'm kind of into right now, at least space stuff. This is version 1, and that's version 2. So there you have it, the difference between it. You could go back to the old version. I don't know why you would want to. I'm going to show you that in the examples that we're going to be looking at. So let's scroll back up to the top. There's a lot of different things that you can choose from. Some of these are Adobe Illustrator. We're not going to be covering those. I think we'll just cover these 2. We did this the last time. This is not much different from what we talked about in Adobe Express. And then you have some other ones that deals with vector and Illustrator. So we're going to be covering these 2 right here. Now, again, this stuff is in Adobe Photoshop, is in Adobe Express. I think it's a little bit easier in Adobe Firefly. I'm going to show you the reason why in a minute. So let's look at this example. I'm going to click on this one. This is basically a text to image, right? So generate image from a detailed description and guide styles with a reference image. The difference is now you can use a reference image to dictate how the image will be rendered. So let's look at that. So we click on generate and you get some preview, some examples of things that people have created. And if you hover over, it tells you what the prompt was used to create it. So you might want to just kind of
Could
peruse.
you read some of those to us because they're so
Yeah,
small
okay,
and
I
it's hard
can.
for us to see?
Yeah, and it's small for me. I may add. This one is a still life scene of candles and glass vases of different color and height with pumpkin, pastel tone, fall theme placed on a wooden tabletop. That's a mouthful. Okay. Let's see what this says. Human figure made of paper, newspaper pages, full body portrait, photorealistic, high detail color. Okay, so add as
I
many
don't
words
see
as you
full
want.
body there.
Um, what is this one? This is a T-shirt design. Adorable French bulldog wearing sunglasses and headphones. Graffiti art, colorful black and back in a black background. So you just say whatever you want.
That's going to be a print and 4-color on a t-shirt.
Huh?
It's going to be expensive to print in 4
Yeah,
colors.
I'm sure it will be. Now, so since I'm in the sci-fi, what I did was I'm gonna come down at the hill. So what you do, this is really easy. I mean, literally. Can I say that? All you got to do is type in what you want. I mean, how easy can that be, right? Now, but it also prompts you to, it kind of gives you some hint on what you can add to your prompt. So it prompts the prompt. How you like that? So let's
And
add.
you're doing this on the Adobe Firefly website. You don't need
Right.
to
And I'm going to
install
type
any
right down at
software.
the bottom here. I'm going to type in alien. Let's see. Okay. Alien on Mars with spaceship hovering over. Okay. And then I'm going to hit generate. Let's see what it does. Give it a minute. It's crunching. You can see it right here. It's processing the rendering it.
So it's giving us 4 separate
So you got
renditions.
full rendering of an alien. What did I say? Alien on Mars with spaceship hovering over. Now, what's nice is that you can change the suggestions right here. Watch what happens when I do this. For some reason, it should give me some prompt. There we go. So if you turn this thing on right here, this little toggle button, it's going to give
And that
you,
says suggestions.
yeah, some others. And it may be hard to say alien Mars on spaceship hovering. And I don't know what this over Zinger and Starry Night Fantasy World. Let's just try that one. And then hit generate. See
So
what
did
it
it
does.
give you a multiple choice of different descriptions?
Yeah, it just kind of gives you some added words that you can add to your prompt.
But I'm trying to ask if I saw it correctly. There were multiple lines. Was each
Yeah,
line a different variation on the description?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now again, it's kind of hard to see, but I don't know why there you go. So you see they got this might be an interesting one.
Can you read them? Because it's not visible to
Yeah,
us.
so alien on Mars spaceship hovering over Zinger and Starry Night, Fantasy World, global extraterrestrialism, travel, space background. Say that's a mouthful. So if you click on that, it adds it to the bottom of this little prompt, right? And then you click generate again, and it's going to generate it with that prompt. Let's see what that does.
I have a question about resources. If this were on your own computer, an app that you were running, every time you generated it, I would think it would use a lot of resources. Does it matter how often you do this? Can you use it up, wear it out,
I
slow
don't know
down your
about
computer?
I don't know about on a phone. I don't know if you can do it on a phone or not, but on a computer, this is rather fast. I mean, to say it generates
Yeah,
2 images in less than a minute, in a few seconds, I may add, to me is real impressive.
amazing.
So now you get full rendering, and you keep on doing this until you find something that you like. Now, I'm not particularly into the actually, this is photo, but you could do the art too. If you're in the artwork, you click on this art. By the way, let me just scroll up. Let me move this out of my way. So you could select this option right here. You can go to version 1 or version 2. I don't know why you would want to go to one, but in 2, it gives you a higher quality image, improved text alignment, because you can add text now, which is you couldn't do in the past, which I hadn't done yet, and better style support. And we'll talk about that later on right here. And also what they didn't mention was the prompts, which is new. So let me cancel out of that. So you could go to 1 or 2. Probably want to stay on 2. And then you can select the aspect ratio. And the aspect ratio
Yeah.
is dependent upon what media type you want to go to, right? So for example, I use YouTube, and 16:9 is what I use for YouTube, is right. But if you are, and again, I'm not familiar with all of these social media platform types, but I think like Instagram, you guys can help me out, or maybe TikTok, you might need a square format, right? Uh, YouTube Shorts is a portrait format, right? Landscape, most things are landscape. You could crop things. So either landscape or widescreen is the ones that I typically use the most. But you do have option for these other ones. So you have an option for the ratio. Then you have the option for what type, either photo or art, or you can let it automatically determine that for you. I particularly like the photo realistic one, so I like this one better. But if you do the art one, let's just click on that and generate it. It's going to give you some art type rendering as opposed to photorealistic rendering. See, I don't like, I mean, I guess it's all right, but I like the real McCoy, if you will. So I'll check the photo and then click generate. I guess if you're going for that cartoon look, that's probably a way to go. And then you could select visual intensity. That just determine the quality of the image. You have to kind of play around with that to see what kind of quality. If you go too low and generate it, let's see what happens.
Is the prompt on that slider what intensity?
Visual intensity.
visual intensity.
Yeah. So that's not too bad. I didn't see much different when I was sliding this. So if I go all the way to the other end and generate it again, let's see what that does. And this is rather fast. I mean, it generates 4 images in less than a minute. To me, that's
After
impressive.
after you generate it, do you save it? I mean,
Yeah, you can
say
download it. Yeah, you can download it to your computer.
what I'm wondering is if you want to compare a picture from one prompt to a similar picture with a different prompt, can you get side by side or save
That's a good
versions? Like
question.
if you redo it, can you go back to what you
Right.
did before?
That is $1,000 question. I'm
Mm,
not sure if you can do that or not. I usually, and again, this is new to me. So when you hover
hmm
over it, you have several options. Maybe you can. So you could do save to favorite. Yeah. So you
Oh,
click
okay.
and you could, which I've never done, save to favorite. And
hmm
then right here is more options. This is where it allows you to download it, copy the link, copy the image, edit in Adobe Express, and there's some other options there. Let me read it. Submit to Firefly community or save to library.
Mhm.
So you can save stuff to either a
Many
library
different
or
ways.
download it. And
It's
then,
funny. It feels to me a lot like a shopping cart where
yeah,
you choose the color, the model, the size, and then you can put it in the basket or save it for later.
exactly. Now, what you can do, because it doesn't always do a good job. I've tried to do some things, and you get some weird images when you put prompts in. So you could rate this result. You could say yay or nay. That's a thumbs up or a thumb down icon right there. Or you could report, if there's some issues, you could kind of click on this little button right here. But what's new, what you won't find in Adobe Photoshop or Adobe Express is this edit button, which I've never used. But if you click on edit, you could do generative fill, so you can add something else to the scene. Or you can apply filters, remove the background, or add text. So let's try to add text, see what that does. Now, what it did, it took me to Adobe Express. So you see I'm going to the Adobe Express site. And then you can add your text. Um,
Did your URL change? You said
yeah,
it
it
took
did. You
you
see
to
it
a
says
different site.
Adobe Express. So it
Oh, okay.
literally took me off of the
hmm
Firefly page and literally opened up another tab, which is Adobe Express that allows you, to add, text. I don't know if you drag and drop this. I forget how to do this. I guess you could select one of these. Uh, Let me just, I don't know.
So I'm looking on
Call
the
it that.
left. I think it says social, seasonal
Yeah, so
headlines.
social signs and labels, social logos, seasonal, headliners, bios, phrases, paragraphs. So you can
Oh
select.
boy.
Oh, I didn't want to move that. I want to move this. And obviously you could change you can click in here and change this to whatever you want, right? Change the price to because everything going up, $9.
Or you can just delete things
Or you can
and
just delete
rearrange them.
things, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. It's funny. So let's go back. So you can go, it's actually taking you to Adobe Express when you do an edit. Or you could do
Hmm.
generative fill and add something else, I guess. Again, it's probably taking me, I guess with this one. Oh, now this is the other part of Firefly, which allows you to do generative fill. We'll look at that later. So let me see. Can I go back? Oh, did I lose it? May have lost my prompt. Um, where's the favorite?
Wow.
That's some interesting stuff, huh? I guess I lost it. I don't know where it went. It was alien on Mars with spaceship hovering over. And I'm gonna just hit the prompt generate button again. I don't know where the other ones went.
Be interesting to see how similar this is to what it did for
Yeah,
the same prompt earlier.
and it changes every time.
No, this actually looks very similar to what you had initially.
Yeah, it does. I think, but there's some variations, I believe, in these,
Uh-huh.
but it uses the same alien,
With
character.
the aliens, right?
All right. Now I do like, I like the photorealistic one. So if I click on that and hit generate again, it gives you the more real life type images. Let's see what happens when we do that. Ooh, look at that one. Now let's go down the list here. So we talked about you could do either version 1 or 2. You could do aspect ratio depending upon the media type that you're serving to. You could determine the content type, which is either artwork or photo, the visual intensity, which is the quality of the image. Obviously, the higher the quality, the bigger the file, right? And then you can use, this is new to Adobe Firefly, is that you can use a reference image, which I don't have for Alien, but if you click on this, you can click on, you can either upload your own image, which I don't have anything to upload, or you can select from this list. Let me just say, I want to select this one right here, which is like a neon light type icon right here. So I'm gonna select that reference image, right? And now when I generate it, pay attention to what happens to these images with this reference image. Select it and hit generate. It probably gonna be some type of neon light type atmosphere. Let's see what happens. Oh, see that?
Mm.
That's kind of cool, in fact.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you kind of select your, the type of reference image that you want, depending upon what you're doing. This is kind of cool. I kind of like that, in fact. This used to take a whole lot to do in Photoshop back in the days. Now you can do this with a matter of a couple clicks, right? I think that's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm thinking if I were to work with an illustrator or somebody, I don't know what would be different between what I tell Firefly and what I tell the live person
Yeah.
of
I'm thinking
what
of
I'm
it.
looking for.
I'm thinking of it not so much as an alternative to Photoshop, but as an alternative to stock photos.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. Oh, yeah, definitely.
A more
And nothing worse, and you probably experienced this, Carol, over the years, of seeing somebody have that same image that you use in their project, in your project, right?
I sure have.
So one question I have is, does everything that it generates free from copyright and can be used for commercial purposes?
Far as I know. Far
Dang.
as I know.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Can you give it a prompt to give a recognizable face? Like, could you give us the name of a celebrity?
What
Or
that lady named Taylor?
Swift?
Taylor Swift?
Probably
I
not.
don't
Didn't
know.
you
I don't know
tell
nothing
us
about
last
her.
time, Cornelius?
Huh?
They didn't really use celebrities.
So let's see. Let's see what happens if we do that. Now
What
I
did
know.
you say, Carol?
I was remembering that Cornelius told us last time that they didn't really
Yeah,
use.
that was in Adobe Express,
Ah,
and none of those.
not Taylor Swift. That might be her on number 2.
And none of those, Taylor. I don't think so. So again, it doesn't always get it right, okay? So I don't know where that came from, okay? That's funny. That
I'm
is not
wondering if
what I.
you could bring in, like, say, if you wanted to, say you wanted this artwork done in the style of an old painter like Michelangelo. would
You
you
could
get
probably do that.
something that then
So
looks like
give me a prompt that you want me to
Michelangelo
type in.
painting?
Still life. Still life with
This-
candles and flowers in the style of
What was still life, you say?
still life.
Okay.
Still life with flowers and candles in the style of Rembrandt. Oh no, do Vincent van Gogh because he has a more recognizable style.
How you spell that?
G-O-G-H.
VAN.
Yeah, you got that part.
Okay. So let's see what that does.
And if it's really Van Gogh style, it should be sunflowers. Nah.
Like I said, it's
I call
learning.
it in the
I guess
style
it's a
of
learning
Hallmark.
machine. It doesn't always get it right, you know.
You know, all of those are photos. Is there another choice? Oh, look up here. Oh, I'm pointing at my monitor. You see me pointing at the monitor?
No.
Like photo or art? Is photo chosen?
Oh, well, let me do. Well,
they look like photos.
yeah, let's
That's
do
because it's
artwork then.
photorealistic.
Because let's do art then, because you're right. So let's see what that
What
does.
I'm wondering is if you had a Vincent van Gogh photo painting like Starry Night, and you pull that in as to base it on, would
Right.
it then copy
Yeah, those
elements?
Those aren't Van Gogh-esque at all.
Then I wouldn't know, but it doesn't always get it right. This is the new technology. I mean, to me, it can do some impressive stuff, but you saw when we did Taylor Swift, it gave us guys, okay? I would say that wasn't right. Now, if you want to do Mid-Journey does a lot of that. If you want a celebrity or whatever on a horse, remember? If you use Mid-Journey, and there's another one, then they give you real life characters. But I don't think you can do that currently with the
There are so
Adobe
many AI generators out there. I'm
products.
wondering,
Man, they have a lot.
how do you choose which one you want to get involved with?
Well, most of them, if it's free,
Right.
because we're not on a shoestring budget, we're on a thread of a budget, right? So number one, if it's free, and there's a lot of them out there that are free, or at least you get the basics for free. And then like I'm using one right now for the state. They wanted me, I'm like the accessibility wrap guy, right? And so I put this little wrap inside of this website called Suno, SUNO.ai, and it spit out music for you automatically. So you just type in some words and it'll write a music for you. Isn't that crazy? Okay, so you could go in and select the various types of techniques. Let me see, maybe I don't know if they have, I was thinking maybe do they have any no, they just have the different types of like light painting and line drawing, ink, halftone, geometric pen. That ought to be interesting. Let's see what that does. Geometric pen. See what that does.
So in the writer, those are all samples of styles using a balloon image to show the variations.
Exactly. So you got bold lines, charcoal. I don't know what that is. Color shift art, digital fractal, doodle art. Let's say doodle, because a lot of people like do doodles. Drawing. See what that does. Okay, so that's nice. And then for
make me wonder if this is free, where is the return on investment for Adobe?
That's a good question. I don't know. Because you think they'd be losing money on stock images, and
Yeah.
stuff, right? Which they make, I'm sure they make a boatload of money on that. Again, this is not perfect. I'm not sure how they make money off of this. And then at the bottom here for you photographers out there, you have different types of things you can do to your image, filters, if you will, that you can apply to your image. Color and tone, right? So you got monotone, black and white, muted color, pastel tone, vibrant, warm tones. A lighting, what kind of lighting you want, and what type of composition you want. Close up, shadow, depth of field, shot from above, shot from below, surface detail, wide angle. So you can select all kind of what is this called again? Composition. And then you have some advanced settings, which for me, it just doesn't seem to work. But there's one thing I did find out on a website or YouTube, that you can exclude things from images. For example, let's say I want to exclude from this image the candles, but it doesn't seem to work. Okay. The one thing you do have to do, you have to hit the return key. You can't just type it in like you see here at the bottom. You have to hit the return key, and you see it created a little box with candle in it with an X. You could delete it. Now, when you render it, it should get rid of the candle. So let's see if it does. Now, for me, I've tried this several times and it didn't work, but I've seen it on website with mixed reviews on how you can exclude objects from your image.
That did it.
So at that time it did.
Candle be gone.
So you can exclude things from your image that you don't want. Now, which is a good safe way to our next thing you can do with Firefly. And let's look at that real briefly. And that is this generative fill. And this is not much different from Adobe After Effects, but not After Effects, Adobe Express rather, but a little bit easier, I think. So here you have an image, like I use this image right here. You could do several things with this image. So let's sample it. Click on the sample. You can insert objects into the image. You can remove objects from the image, or you can pan. Now, pan is the easiest one. That means you could just move the thing left and right, crying out loud. Okay, that's the easy one. Right, but let's do the remove. Let's say I want to remove this, whatever this is up here, right? All I have to do is literally paint this thing out, right? Like that. And now notice I have a remove prompt, right? And so when I click on that, give it a minute, wait for it, wait for it. It's rendering. Okay, and it got rid of it. Okay, so you can remove objects from the image, but you can also insert objects. Okay, so let's see. Would you like to save the current? Yes, say yes. Okay, just let's say I want to add a butterfly. Actually, I'll put a hat on her. So I'm gonna literally just roughly. Now, what I've discovered is that it's important that you make this selection right here large enough for the object that you're trying to create. I told it a hat the other when I was doing this earlier, and it gave me a what is the thing you put on your barrette or whatever?
A visor?
No, I put a barrette. I think that's what you call it. It's like a little bow.
Array.
Is that what y'all call it? Okay, so what was I'm saying hat, right? Just a general hat, nothing fancy. Let's see what it does. Now I made it a little bit bigger, so it might give me indeed a hat. Let's see. She gave me a pair of glasses.
Yes.
Right?
Oh.
Okay, you see that? Look, that one didn't do
Yeah,
anything.
and it's not even realistic.
Okay, now watch what happens. I'm gonna do it again, but this time, again, I'm gonna do the insert. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna say cancel. But this time I'm gonna extend it a little bit further. Right? Like so. And again, I didn't change the prompt, a generic prompt of hat. And then when I click generate again, Let's see what happens. It's still processing. That's one
It
hat.
looks like it gave her a white yarmulke.
Yeah.
Oh, our glasses again.
Bigger glasses.
So again, it doesn't always get it right. Again, if maybe if I went bigger, I'll do cancel. I need to make it really big, huh? So they know it's a hat. Is that big enough? You think?
One of those big
Should
Russian.
wear a crown.
So let's try that and see what that does for us. You would think it'd get a hat right. I mean, for crying out loud. I mean, that's not a complex object to render. I mean, okay, now that's
Oh,
not
there
too
you have a
bad.
hat.
Okay.
Totally inappropriate with her dress.
Right.
You
Well,
didn't say you wanted a square bonnet.
okay,
I
but
mean, a
it's better
straw
than what it
bonnet.
was doing earlier, right? And
Yeah.
that's because I made the selection wider to accommodate, keyword there, to accommodate the object that I was trying to create.
That's asking
Okay.
a little much, Karen, for it to know that it should have a fall hat with a fall jacket and not a spring hat and a fall jacket.
Well, you could probably
Right.
put that in a prop and get, you want a feather hat or I don't know what kind of cowboy hat
A
or
winter
whatever,
hat.
or
Yeah.
A
winter
warm
hat.
hat. I'm also wondering, could I take a photograph, say a wedding photo, and say remove the groom?
You mean
Well, let me see. Do I have some pictures in here with several people in it? Let's see.
I'm wondering if it would work if I brought in a real life photograph.
if it
Yeah.
was your own photo? Yeah.
Not sure. But you could
For
probably,
example,
yeah.
I recently had a picture of a client in a museum, and it had a bystander that she wanted removed from the photo. And you can do that in Photoshop. I'm just wondering if Firefly, if I imported that photo and said remove the person sitting on the left, whether it would know to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure it would. Because
Hmm.
I think I've done that before. And you can insert a person too. I've seen that done, at least in Photoshop I have.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say I wanted to remove this lighthouse, right? So I'm gonna just select that like that, just rough draft, rough selection. Make sure I get all of it. And then click on the remove button. Let's see what happens. No, doesn't always get it right because I told it to remove it, not to add one, right? So again, this is all new technology.
Mm-hmm.
Clear. So let me try that again. Maybe I selected too much of it, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. Sometimes you just have to kind of do it a couple times, a couple iterations. Because I did this earlier and it did work. And for this time, for some reason, maybe I went too wide. No. I don't know what
Cornelius,
that
we have
is.
about another 10 minutes left in this hour-long meeting. So if there's anything you want to cover before we wrap it up.
Let me do one more thing. I got to add a dragon.
Okay.
Let me add a dragon and then we'll call it a quits. Gotta have a dragon in the water, crying out. What do you call a the Locky monster? Whatever. Let's do a dragon.
Loch Ness Monster.
Loch Ness monster. So let's see if we can add a dragon down here.
And the the text prompt only goes into the matted out, wiped out area.
Yeah, exactly. And you can have multiple, you could do multiple areas and and I can have, a whole slew of dragons coming in.
Yeah, and it adds back what you need as far as the background.
Yeah. So let's see, I'm gonna have multiple dragons. Hopefully the same type. Oh, those are birds, look like.
No, we got birds. Maybe
Again,
because
it's
you
not
put them
perfect.
above the horizon.
It's not perfect, but I mean, it did a good job adding the bird, but I didn't ask for a bird. Go figure. Anyway, not a whole lot different from what you saw in Photoshop and in Adobe Express. I think it's a little bit easier, and then you have a few more additional features like the additional prompts, the different themes that you can select from. And again, as you've seen, this is not perfect, but maybe 2 years from now, it may be better. I expect it will be. But that's Firefly version 2.0. Any questions?
Nope.
And I don't know what's going on in the chat here. I see a lot of.
I was just typing in what our topic for next month's meeting is going to be, which is that our other co-manager, John Merrifield, will be presenting Adobe After Effects, introducing the all-new 3D and CGI model import features.
Cool.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. So I'm gonna stop sharing.
And Carol, I want to repeat the invitation. If you have a topic and can commit to a date, we'd love to have you give a presentation.
Okay, are we off the recording?
No, not yet.
Okay, then I won't talk yet.
Okay, but I can stop the recording. Is there anything else
Yeah, you can
you
stop
want
the
to say
call.
to wrap this up, Cornelius?
No, I'm through.
Great.
Thanks,
Well,
Cornelius.
applause. Thank you very much.